Okay, let me just get my soothing cup of water. Too much. I'm choking. Okay, Spitfire, sorry. I was drinking water because I was getting dehydrated. Let's start. Hey, yo. Genesis chapter 25, verse 1. Then again, then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zeram, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. Just Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Asherim, Asurim, and Letushim, and Lemenim, and the sons of Midian, Epha, and Epher, and Hanach, and Ebida, and Alada. All these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he had lived 100 and 15 years. Wait, I'm gonna stream this on Instagram Live so that we could get more people in reading the Bible. You know, it, just a massive Bible reading. Checking connection. Bad then. Okay, so we're on 8. Okay, then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good age, good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave, and Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar, and Hittite, which is before Mamre. Solomon. the I mean, it's basically just names at this point. It's Bible time. Heck yeah, Bible time. The field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Lahai-roi. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nabajoth, and Kedar, and Abil, and Mibsan, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa. Hadar and Tema, Jeter, Nafish, and Kedama. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names. By their towns and by their cities, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years old. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, and they dwelt from Havilah, Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, and thou goest toward Assyria, and he died in the presence of all of his brethren. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel and Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban and Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. The Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Es Esuel. Esau. I don't know how to pronounce that. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took on Es Esau, Esau's heel, and his name was Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did not eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Okay. Wait, sorry, Instagram boys. I have another boy in an Xbox party who's I guess, yes. Uh, it's probably just bread. I thanks, Solomon. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Uh, okay, so basically chapter 26. So let's go over what we read in chapter 25. Basically, Abraham and a whole bunch of people had a lot of children. Okay, and then basically there were two main ones: Esau and Jacob. Esau was basically dying. He's like, I'm starving. I need food. Please help me. And then and then he's like, oh. Jacob's like, oh, you need food? Well, if you give up your birthright, which is basically just like riches that Abraham promised him, he's like, if you give up your birthright, then I'll give you some food. And then he was like, fine, I will force you. And basically, that's what happened. Jacob is very greedy. Chapter 26. That is one of the 720 sins. Seven deadly sins. And there was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. The Lord appeared unto him, and said, Go not down unto him, and said, Go not down into Egypt. Dwell in the land which I shall tend thee of. Sojourn in the land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and sorry, and the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister, for he feared to say, She is my wife. Lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been here for... Sorry, my phone's 20%. And it came to pass... Yeah, wait. I have my charger right next to me, too. I don't care if someone's spamming hearts. I'm trying to read the Bible. Okay, wait. And it came to pass when stupid Xbox when he had been there a long time that Albamech, king of the Philistines, looked out of the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, a Serenity, she is thy wife, and how sittest thou? She is my sister. And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, Lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have line with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us. And Abimelech charged all of his people, saying, he that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sowed in the land, and received the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great, and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks, and possession of herds, and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, and Philistines had stopped them, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they digged another well, and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence, and digged another well. And for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed, for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called upon the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there. And there were Isaac's servants digged a well. And Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzeth, one of his friends, and Piccolo, the chief, Pichol, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? Question mark. Why? Why did I say question mark? and they said, we certainly, and we saw certainly that the Lord was with thee. And we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and thee. Let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt not do hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of the Lord. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up in betimes in the morning, and sware one to another, and Isaac sent them away. And they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came, and they told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took his wife Judith, and the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and Rebekah. Chapter 27. Okay, well, what page? I am at Genesis 26:33 through 27:21 right now. Yeah. Basically, what happened in this chapter was, well, it was just, well, Isaac, no, Isaac. Was it Isaac? Yeah, it was Isaac. Wait, was it? I'm pretty sure it was Isaac. Wait. Yeah, it was Isaac. Okay. So basically, what happened was Isaac and his wife went to Egypt, and then the Egyptians were like, "Hey, hey, is that your wife?" And then he's like, "No, no, no, it's not my wife, it's my sister." Because he was like, "Oh no, they're gonna kill me if I tell them it's my wife. She looks too good. They're gonna kill me if they don't." And then they find out that it's his wife, and then the Pharaoh's like, "Why didn't you tell us it was your wife? If we would have slept with her, we would have felt greatly saddened with ourselves because we were like, oh no, I thought that she was single." And then he was like, oh yeah, also to those men, don't hurt them, okay? And then he's like, okay, thank you. And then they left, and then they built like four wells, and yeah. Chapter 27. Wait, let me get a swig of water real quick. Oh. Hello. Okay, bye. Okay. We're reading the Bible here. Solomon, why would you curse in the Bible stream? And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau, his eldest son, and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here I am. And he said, behold now, I am old, I know not the day of my death, and therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, which is basically just like cow meat, if you didn't know. And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field and hunt for venison, and bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, according to what which I command thee. Now go to the flock, and fetch me from thence two good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. Thou shalt bring it to thy father, and that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father will peradventure. Okay, so basically what's happening is you see, basically, uh he can't see anymore. Isaac is blind. So he's like Esau, because he's basically just feeling their legs, because he's like he can't see. So he feels their legs. He knows that Esau's are hairy and Jacob's are smooth. So he's basically like holding their legs as he talks, and then he's like, Esau, I want you to basically bring me this cow meat. And he's like, I will do it. Actually, no. Venison, I'm pretty sure. No, venison, I'm pretty sure is like sheep. It's like sheep or goat meat, I'm pretty sure. So basically, he's saying, give me this meat and please make it into a last meal for me. And then basically, his wife and his other son Jacob are basically just eavesdropping, and then they're like, "Oh, I know what we must do. We must do it better. Yeah, we must get the blessing, not stinky Esau." So basically, my father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver. I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And as his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiments of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob her younger brother, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which had prepared, into the hand of her son. Basically, he's like, but my legs are too smooth. And his mother's like, I have an idea. So basically, she uses the meat to cook, and then she uses the hair of the goat to like cover him in. So now she's like, haha, you are now hairy. You're like your brother. He won't know the difference. Anyways, 18, and he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him, and he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he said, Come near, and he came near, and kissed him. And he smelt the smell of the raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heavens, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob was yet scarce gone out of the presence of Isaac his father. And Esau his brother came in from his hunting, and he also had made a savory meat, and brought it unto his father. Said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, the firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly. He said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten it all before thou camest, and have blessed him, yea, and he shall be blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeded bitter cry. He said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, The brother came with subtility, subtility, that hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, It is not rightly named Jacob, for he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. He said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered, and he said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above. And by thy sword shall live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her eldest son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent her, and sent and called Jacob her younger son, said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort herself, pur- purposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise. Flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him for a few days, until thy brother's fury turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forgot that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take the wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are the daughters of the land, which are the good, which good shall my life do to me. Okay, so that was chapter 27. And this is actually a pretty easy one to explain, because it was a story. Okay, this is the story of Esau and Jacob. So basically what happened, Jacob was like, hey, I hate my brother, angry face. And then he's like, oh, how can I get back at him? And then he's like, oh, I know. When he's starving, I won't give him food. Laughing emoticon. And then he's like, ah ha, if I just starve him and then make him beg so that he will no longer have his birthright, then I will be better than him. And then he's like, oh, my brother Esau dares to get a blessing from our father. I know I will take it from him. Basically, Jacob's not a very nice person. Okay, let's take another swig of water. Oh wait, you missed the recap. It's okay. Wow, this chapter's only like half a page long. Well, sorry, I mean a page and a half. That's okay. Honestly, I'm just doing this for the people who like want to pop in and listen to the Bible. Because you see, I know that a lot of people were just like, hey, look, Eros is streaming. I wonder what he's talking about. And then they hear the Bible and then they're like, uh, okay, time for me to leave. But you see, I like doing this. This is fun. Okay. Chapter 28. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and thou mayest be a multitude of people. Give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee, and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padan Aram, into Laban, son of Bethuel, and Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's and Esau's mother. When Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and sent him away to Padan Aram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Padan Aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau into Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughters of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. And Jacob went out to Beersheba, and went towards Haran, light up upon a certain place, and tarried all night, because the sun. Wait, okay, so basically what this story is it's kind of it's it's not even greed. I feel like it's envy and wrath. Cause like Esu is like wrathful. He's like, yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, so basically Jacob's like, oh, my brother gets so much, I will take away everything from him. And then Esther's like, oh, my brother's taken everything from me. I will kill him. So it's basically envy and wrath. Esther being wrath and Jacob being envy. Yeah. It's basically how your actions make someone else unhappy. You know, if you make someone unhappy purposely because you were unhappy, then it's just going to make the other person unhappy, which is going to make both of you guys unhappy. It's just a cycle. Then Asu. Okay, then Jacob went out to Beersheba and went towards Haran, and he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in the deep to sleep. And he dreamed that behold a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold the angels of God ascending and ascending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it, and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac, and land whereon thou liest, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed, and thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into the land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. Yes, Salman? Yes, student. Yeah. Ah, actually, I didn't hear that noise. You better not. That's the sin of lust. And Jacob awakened out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it. My controller batteries are low. And I knew it not. And he was afraid, and he said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil up upon the top of it. And he called the name of the place Bethel. But the name of that city was called Luz at the first. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I will come again to my father's house in peace. And then shall the Lord be my God, and this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the tenth unto thee. Okay, well that's chapter 28. Wait, I gotta do my batteries, and then I'll do the recap. Okay, my controller is back on. So basically, what happened in that one is, well, Jacob is just like, okay, well, I guess I should probably listen to my mom and dad. And now he's going to like Bethiel or wherever he's going. And then he's like, and then he had a dream. He had a dream of heaven. He's like, okay, well, if God is real, then He will provide me with everything that I need. And if God does that, then this is his house. Because if God is real, then this is his home, and I will praise him, basically. Technically, yeah, that's kind of how the first church was made. Chapter 29. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? What does that sentence mean? Whence be ye? No, he's asking a question. Yeah, maybe. And they said, Of Haran are we. Oh, maybe it's like maybe it means like where did you come from? Like whence, like where be ye? Ye's probably like where did you come from? Well, like wherest is probably like from where, and then be ye is like where where did you come from? And then they're like we are from Haran, are we? Basically, we are from Haran. And he said, yeah, that's just how people talked, Solomon. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel, his daughter, cometh with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle shall be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. Are you saying that the sheep are just not being fed? That's animal abuse. And they said, We cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban with his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all the things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with them the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, but they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening, they took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him. And he went in unto her, and Laban gave his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service, which thou shalt serve with me yet another 7 years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to her maid. And he went unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet another 7 years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb. But Rachel was barren, and Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, Surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction, now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me the son also. And she named his name Simon. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Now this time will be my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne 3 sons, therefore his name will be Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son. She said, Now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah and left bearing. Chapter 30. Time for recap. Okay, Solomon, you have to remember that all of these people are having like hundreds of kids, like thousands. You know, they're being blessed with fertility. But basically, what happened was Jacob is like, hey, you know what? You guys need to give your sheep water. And they're like, we are. And then he's like, okay. And then he's like, ooh, Rachel. And now he's tempted by the sin of lust. Okay, that's another one there. Okay, he's like, oh, a very pretty lady. Okay, so the seven deadly sins are pride, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, lust. We haven't gotten to sloth, gluttony, sloth, pride, and gluttony. We haven't gotten to yet. And basically, what happened in that chapter was, well, he's like, "Oh, pretty lady," and then he's like, "Oh, how long must I work to obtain her?" And then he's like, 7 years. And then he did. And then he's like, "Oh, here's my older daughter." And then he's like, "I want the younger one." And he's like, "Okay, 7 more years." And then he's like, "Oh, fine." And then he's like, "Hee hee, I get the younger daughter now." But actually, he is both. Yeah. We see. Solomon, you have to remember that Adam lived until like 900 years old. He almost lived to 1,000. It's because they had the purer genes, aka like very little disease, and your muscles are basically perfect. Lust is the hardest to control in my own personal opinion because, well, especially nowadays, like it's so like enchanted in our culture, dude. Like there's so many songs that are just like, the whole WAP song. Yeah, you see, Lust is just the hardest, I feel like. Okay, so let's just list out the sins. Pride, I feel like pride only affects a few people, but when it affects them, it hits them hard. Like narcissism. Like, I barely have any pride in me. Yeah, and now let's go over sloth. Sloth is also a pretty difficult one. It's basically just you being like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. You know? That's kind of like sloth. Okay? Wrath, pretty easy. Yeah, sloth is basically just laziness. Wrath is like, I died to boss too many times. So wrath is also a pretty hard one for me because I personally struggle with wrath a lot because Dark Soul make me very angry. Okay, lust. That's I feel like that's the worst one out of all of them. It's everywhere. There's so many different things that you could like because a lot. Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Then, and you have to think about it this way: lust isn't just basically the definition of lust is a a great longing, like great wanting of. So you don't just have to be lustful. Yeah, no. It could be like, oh, I really want, I really want to be the best potato farmer in the world. I will sacrifice anything, everything, so that I could be the best potato farmer in the world. I love potatoes with all my heart. Yeah, okay, it's a very stupid example, but you understand what I mean. But you see, but you see, what I feel like lust is the hardest about is basically it's so difficult to avoid because while when you think of lust, you may think of like premarital sex or like masturbation, but it also means like if you like imagine yourself with someone because that's being lustful. It's like, oh, I really want them. Like I'm going to imagine us together. Like that is being lustful. like it's if you want it more than your relationship with God. That's basically how lust works. If like yeah, I understand. You're not Christian and you don't really want a relationship with like anything. But like if you were Christian, then your main priority should be making that relationship with God. It should be, "Oh, I need Elden Ring now." Okay, and now there's envy. I feel like envy is the easiest one in my own personal opinion because it's basically just, "Oh, how dare you?" Oh, I can't believe that Solomon got 17 Uji katanas and I only have two. Oh, angry. I wish that I had what he had. Uh, uh, I I feel like if you are envious, then it's like I feel like if you do have envy, then you have like the worst because like if you're envious, then you could be lustful and prideful and greedy. Like you could be greed and wrath at the same time. You could be like four and technically five because envy is one. So you could be committing so many sins because you're jealous. I don't believe. Oh, I feel like in at least Christianity, it's about the context. Like if you're overconfident that God will do something, then it's not pride. But if you're like overconfident, like yeah, I bet my men could kill your men easier, then that would probably be pride. It's basically putting something over God. You're like, well, I mean, it's more like putting yourself over God or putting something else over God, like being like, oh, would I rather read the Bible today or watch the Seattle Seahawks live at NFL.com? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know football. Basically, I feel like if you are envious, then you have a really tough one to overcome because now you're struggling with like all five. Gluttony. Gluttony's hard. Basically, it's just the overconsumption of things. So it's not even just food. Like, let's say that you buy, no, not even that you buy. Let's say that you want. Basically, what gluttony is you want more than others. Like envy is like, oh, I want that thing that the other has, but gluttony is like, I want more than everyone else. Like let's say, oh, how dare you, Solomon? How dare you have 16 Uji katanas? Okay, so now it's showing signs of wrath and envy. Well, I'm gonna get 742. Now you're showing signs of gluttony too. So, like you could probably, yeah, okay, yeah. So it's pride, sloth, wrath, lust, envy, gluttony, and greed. Oh yeah, okay. So basically, okay. Well, you may think about that, but basically, lust is like this desire for something. Gluttony is just the overconsumption. So you see, you could be gluttonous without being lustful, but I feel like they're basically hand in hand, kind of like envious and wrath. I feel like those two are also pretty hand in hand. Envy and pride is also pretty hand in hand. I feel like sloth and gluttony is also pretty hand in hand. If you're lazy, then you're gonna consume more. I feel like a lot of the sins are very hand in hand. But like, yeah, I feel like you can be gluttonous without being lustful. Like, because lust is a desire. But let's say that you just eat the entire pot of spaghetti. You're not really desiring it, but you just eat it all. You don't save any for others. That would just be pure gluttonous with no signs of lust. So yeah. Oh yeah, Ivy Sneaks on YouTube. Oh, never mind. He's gone. I was gonna be like, we're doing a Bible stream. Okay. Now, I feel like the last one that we haven't discussed is greed. Okay, greed. I feel like it's a tough one for a lot of people. Like personally, I feel like I am pretty greedy from time to time. It depends on what video game I'm playing. Mainly, what makes me greedy because like if we're playing like Terraria, I'm gonna be like, no, no, but I mean like greed is like a what do you call it? It's yeah, it's it's basically you want something over anything. You just want this thing, and you don't care what you will do to it to get it. And then after you get that thing, it's either you want more or you are going to protect that thing with your life. So it's basically like I feel like I am greedy sometimes. Like whenever we play Terraria, I'm like, oh Solomon, I better not see you anywhere near my chests, stinky thief. I feel like I feel like that's showing signs of greed because I'm like, I'm not trying to keep you away from my chest because I think that you're gonna steal. I'm keeping you away from my chest because I want my items. It's mainly why when I play games like that, I play single player. But I feel like greed could be a hard one to solve, but I feel like it would probably be the easiest one to cure. Like if you were like extremely wrathful, I mean, it would like you would have to start like I don't know meditating or something. You would have to like find a way to yeah. I mean, but if you were just greedy, being dehydrated, Solomon. I've read for an hour straight. Oh, I drank water right as you said that, so I'm like, but why? Okay, let's just get on. Chapter 30. And when Rachel saw that she and when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister. Oh, there it is again, envy. Yeah, they don't normally try to hide it. It's it would probably be better if they just said it. Uh, and said unto Jacob, "Give me children, or else I die." What? What? Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold my maid, Bilhah, 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 go in unto her, and she shall bear unto my knees. that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went in unto her. Oh, wait, that's a different person! Jacob! No! Okay, so I guess this is his third person. Okay. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath son, given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings, and I have wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Nif- Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah with her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest. Okay, wait. Basically, before I go on, what we're reading is just like they're both envious. Like Leah's envious that like she was like, God promised me that Rachel wouldn't have any children, but now she's having children, and now she's like, I cannot bear any more children, so I will get my mates to bear children, and then I will become the better sister, and maybe Jacob will finally love me. Jacob's a horrible person. My goodness. Oh, yeah, it's definitely lust for Jacob. That he slept with like four women. He's not simping. The females are simping. Yeah, Leah's simping, but it's for a good cause. She was his first wife, and then he's like, no. Uh, and Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the garden in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldst thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening. Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee for my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. What is this? Okay, so basically, sorry, I keep stopping because this is just blowing my mind. So basically, Rachel's just like, please, I need these mandrakes. Honestly, I don't know what a mandrake is, but she's like, I need them. And then Leah's like, but you took my husband. Angry face. And she's like, how about this? You can sleep with your husband if you give me the mandrakes. And then she's like, bah. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived and bare Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maid. Heck, my Instagram alive crashed. Luckily for me, we're still live at twitch.tv/Zenyatta Main 55. Come read the Bible with us, please. And Leah said, God hath endued me with good dowry. Husband. What's he mean? It's over. Yeah, my Instagram crashed. Husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. Wow, she's had like 6 children. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb, and she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph. The Lord said, and the Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto mine own place and to my country. Really? He's leaving his like 4 wives and like 17 kids? Bruh, they're Middle Eastern. No. No. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I had done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favour in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it was now increased into a multitude, and Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for mine own house also? And he said, I and he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing them from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and such shall be my hire, and shall my righteousness answer for me in the time to come. When it shall come for my hire before thy face, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would be might according to thy word. Wait, I just want to say something real quick. I'm so happy that I'm streaming this, because I'm like, I have a very bad memory. But now, if I, well, that is good. But now, like, I'm gonna put like little, I'm gonna put like little timestamps for all the for all the what you call it, talking after chapter, for all the recaps basically. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. And he removed that day the goats that were ring streaked and spotted, and all the goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among sheep, and gave them unto the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob. And Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took him rods and green poplar, and the hazel and chestnut tree, and piled the white strikes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had piled before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs. When the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink, and the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle, ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks towards the ring-straked, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and he put them into not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before his eyes, the cattle in the gutters, and they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and manservants, and camels, and asses. Chapter 31. Let's recap chapter 30. Basically, Jacob's walking around, and he's like, yeah, I should probably listen to my mom and dad. So he's like, okay, I found technically my uncle. Howdy there, uncle. And then he's like, hi. And he's like, can I have your daughters? And he's like, do 14, do 14 years of work. And then he's like, good to go. Then they had like 17 kids, which is quite a bit. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go. And then he's like, please don't go. And then he's like, okay, but you're gonna have to do this thing for me. And then he's like, okay, I guess. And then I guess he did it. I don't know what that thing was. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna breed all of your cattle now. And then he's like, it's pretty good. It's pretty nice. Pretty neat. Thank you. He's like, yay. Okay. Solomon, you there? Did you miss the recap? What time do you have to get off? Hmm. I'm gonna stop reading the Bible for today and end it on chapter 31. Then we'll come back tomorrow, I guess. This this could just be like a nice little nightly tradition. I'll start at 8 and end at 9 normally. Is that okay with you, Solomon?